Hey, good morning everyone. I'm jumping on for a very spontaneous live. I thought rather than make a video, let's do it live. And then hopefully I can save it and put it on YouTube. So if you're watching live, hello, hello. If you're watching a YouTube replay, hello as well. I try not to waffle, but you can always hit the fast forward button if you need. I just need to mute myself and find myself on my iPad so I can see comments. Hopefully the comments will actually be working because the last couple of times they have not. Okay, enough with the waffle like I just said. Let's get on to our card. So I'm using the Beautiful Day. So if you do follow my Facebook page, you would have seen a couple of cards that I had posted. They are cased. I saw a card on Pinterest that I really liked. And this one was pretty much similar to the card that I saw on Pinterest. I didn't save the pin, so I can't remember who actually did it, but I just liked it and saw it and stuck in my head. So, and then I created a pink one as well in the different orientations. So we are going to create these cards, and I can show you how I colored them. And because the coloring does take some time, I've already actually pre-colored a little bit. But I will show you how I am going to go about it. Put my glasses on. So if you are watching live, if you can just comment so that I can see whether the comments are actually working. If not, I will just chatter to myself and pretend that I can see your comments. So the color combination that I'm going to use for this one, I thought, got to do something a little bit different. I'm going to try the Pretty Peacock, and I'm actually going to mix it with a bit of Bermuda Bay, which is probably a little bit different, and you'll see that they are quite different. So what I normally do when I'm trying to pick a color range, because I don't just use one set of combo, I actually use 2, maybe sometimes 5 blends, individual blends. So what I do is just always do a little test swatch. Hey Betty, great, my comments are working, yay! So I'm going to start with the dark Pretty Peacock. I'm just going to lay them down in the normal way for you and show you what they look like to start with. So you can see the 2 color combos. So this is what I do pretty much every time I start to color. And then I've got my dark Bermuda Bay and my light, oops, I want to use the thin end, and my, get the lids off, and my light Bermuda Bay. So you can see that the color families are quite different, like they don't look like they're going to blend together all that nicely. So then what I do is I go, well, you know what, I'm going to take my chance, and I'm going to put them in a color order that I think will do better. So I'm going to do the dark Peacock. So I'm going to choose that one, and then I'm going to choose the dark Bermuda, and then I'm going to go to the light Peacock, and then the light Bermuda. So you can see that even though those color families still don't really blend together very well, they do actually blend together very well. So I will show you then what I do. So go back to the dark. I need to put my blends in a proper order so I don't get mixed up. So, and I'm going to start from the bottom because, actually I'll just turn it around so then you can see the color thing. So when I color, I start with my dark color first. So I'm just going to pretend that I'm coloring in an area. Then I do my dark Bermuda Bay, but I go over the top and extend it out a little bit. So I'm going to do a color swatch as if I am coloring in. And then I usually start over it all again and extend it a little bit further and then come back. And then my final color, oh no boo to work, Christine. And then my final color, so you can see that those colors will actually blend together quite nicely. They change color. I'll just bring that up a little bit. They do change color, but that's how I work out my color swatch for whatever it is that I want to color. So now we can get started and I can show you my butterfly. So because it is time consuming, I have already colored most of it in. Now what I've done is taken the butterfly and I've just got to stand up, sit down, stand up, is I've just white embossed it, and I'm just using the regular Whisper White. So it is a little bit tricky to see because it is white on white, so you'll have to bear with me. But starting with my dark peacock, and another thing that you also have to be aware of is being an alcohol marker. If you draw on, if you accidentally color over the top, and you'll see some areas, and you color over your white embossing, it will not come off. Okay, so you do have to take a little bit of care. So I sort of have to hold my card up on an angle so that I can see the glossiness, because there's a few spots where I've drawn on my, and I just did it then, where I've drawn on my embossing and it doesn't come off. Okay, so I start with my dark, and when I do my whole butterfly, I go and do all of my dark. So then I can put my lid on and click it away. Okay, my next color is dark Bermuda Bay. And you'll notice that I'm using my bullet tip. I tend to enjoy using my bullet tip a lot more than using the brush end. If I'm doing large areas, I'll use the brush end, but mainly I will use the bullet tip. So I'm going to start over the top of my dark and then extend my color out. And I do have to say, I am not a professional colorer. I haven't taken any coloring classes or anything like that. I just play with what I like, which I think is fun. I don't think there's any right or wrong, really. If you enjoy it, go for it. So, and what I do is I just like color over the top until go back and forth a little bit, just to try and get rid of that line. Because being alcohol, you can do that. Now, is that close enough? I think it's close enough. I'm just going to try and keep it in the right camera spot for you. So just extend it out and then come back over the dark area that I've already done and just blend over that line a little bit. Now, you will start to see when I put the next, see those two blend in together quite well, but when I put in the light pretty peacock, the color of the whole thing is going to change, okay? So it changes a couple of different times because the next color is quite a blue. So I'm just gonna go, so you'll see how that's, oops, I'm having shocking internet at the moment because we've got some pretty wild weather going on. So I'm hoping it's keeping up. So you'll see that it's starting to turn a bit more blue. At least I hope you can see that. So just colour over the top and then colour over the whole lot. I'll stop this in a second and hold it up after I've done this bit. And then the last one. All right, so hopefully that's not freezing. You can see that from this section here, and these, it's like it got a lot more blue in the color, but that changes again when I put in my last color, which is the light Bermuda Bay. So it will change back, and again you just have to go over the entire bit. Just try and make sure I've got everything. There's a little piece in there. All right, and just go over the whole lot again. Look. I think as long as you just see how the colors changed again, and that happens. When I'm done, I will bring in my other cards and I'll tell you the color combos that I've used for them, because I did one with Rococo Rose and Flirty Flamingo, and the color was just so completely different to every time I put down another layer of color. Yeah, so I think it's quite cool. So don't be afraid to try blending colors of different families, and I think as long as you go over the top of it all, so that it all blends in together, you're generally right. So for example, I'll show you what I mean. So like if I was colouring this in and I only went to there, that doesn't really blend quite well. But because I'm taking it and going over the entire colour, it sort of accepts that blend a little bit better, if you know what I mean. Okay, so now that is done, and the colours do settle in together a little bit nice. So I think that's pretty cool. So next is cutting it out, which is also a little bit tricky because it's white on white. But to save you from that, I have another butterfly that I have actually cut out. And this one is a purple one. So I can finish that other card later. So I've cut one out already. I didn't keep his tentacles. I thought that was just way too hard. So the colours that I used in the purple one are, now let me get them out because I don't know whether it's just me or whether it's my lids, but they all look very, very similar. So I used the Purple Posy combo and the Highland Heather. Now all my lids look very similar. So I'm hoping that I've got them on the right because I took them to Link and Learn and some of the lids got a little bit mixed up with where they were supposed to be. So I'm hoping that the lids are on the right ones, but they are all very, very similar. So that's the colour combo that I've used for this one. Okay, so for my card, which is pretty simple, let me zoom out. I'm just remembering that I have to zoom out when I have finished doing that. So I've got a card base of thick Whisper White and my bone folder. So I hope you're all having a lovely day. I hope that you haven't got wild woolly weather. I hear it's pretty cold in a lot of regions. So I think I will do this one in a portrait. Now the other thing that I used, this is my favoritist. Bricks and Mortar it is called, and it has become one of my favorites. Oh, while I've got you here actually, Stampin' Up aren't using Sizzix anymore, so this is a 3D embossing folder, but it's not as thick as the Sizzix embossing folders. So we do have a new plate. It's called an embossing plate and it's blue, so you know that to only use it with an embossing. And the sandwich that you want, this one isn't in the catalogue, but it is in the online store. Okay, so the sandwich that you use is just your Big Shot platform. Then you put your card and your folder, and then you pop the blue one on and you just run that through. Okay, so that's the ones that you already own that you've bought previously that are Sizzix, you won't need to do that. But for any of the new stuff that Stampin' Up are bringing out in there under their own name, you will need to use that embossing plate. Oh, got my card a bit dirty. So, but this is how it turns out, and it's amazing. I love it. It is. It's got so much texture, and I can see so many great techniques to be able to use with that one. Okay, I am a little bit rambly. Okay, get my stuff together. So I'm just going to place my butterfly on. Now, bearing in mind I am going to cut some of my butterfly off. So I need to make sure that I don't put my dimensional out on the wingtip because that would just give me grief. I can on the other side, but not on the bit that I want to cut off. And that's the bit that I want to cut first. So, oh, it's cold, cold, cold here. Okay, just make sure I've got everything lined up. And I just want to hang him over the edge a little bit so that I can get some snipped off. I'll just grab my cutter. And I feel bad cutting those bits off after you spend so much time colouring in. But I think it looks great. And then I'm going to stick that on dimensionals as well. and that will go on my card front. Okay, try not to get my head in. Lay that down, and finally I have from the Itty Bitty Birthdays, and I know I use this all the time. I have got time to celebrate, and I need a mini dimensional. So again, I'm going to put a dimensional on that side, and I'm going to put snail on the other side, so that my sentiment sits nice and flat. And just to hang him off a little bit, hope it's straight. And then finally, so I'm going to end up having 4 of these cards, which is great. Oh, 85. Oh, I don't know what 85 is. Warm. Okay. And then I'm just going to pop a few oh, I've forgotten what these are called, rhinestones around. Just flitter them around a little bit. Where else do I put them? I'm not very good at doing them in a random sort of way. We'll put one up there. I don't think that. Anyway, whatever. So there we have our very simple, quick. Once you've got your colouring done, your colouring is the enjoyable part of it. And so once you have all them done, the card is super quick to put together. So I will end up having a nice, good evening, Karen. So I will end up having a group of 4. This is the one that I coloured today. So this one was Purple Posy and Highland Heather. This one was Mango Melody and Daffodil Delight. And this one was Rococo Rose and Flirty Flamingo. So that one completely changed colour. It was, actually they all change colour when you lay all the colours down. Another thing that you might like to do when you've finished your butterfly and it's dried a little bit is just to come back in with your dark and just in the centres there, just add a little bit of extra, like tiny amount. Because what will happen is that will settle into your card again and just deepen that little bit there. Like that. So you can do that, which is what I did for the purple one. So there we go. Thank you. Oh, you're late. Never mind. The replay, and hopefully, I'm hoping that I can save this, because every time I try and download it from Facebook to put it onto YouTube, I lose all my audio. So I'm hoping that I can do this the right way so that I don't have to go and make the video all over again just for YouTube. So there is my beautiful collection of butterflies. They're so lovely. I'd love to make a blue one. I'd love to make them in all different color ranges, but play with your blends, try different color combinations that you wouldn't normally, like just grab a handful of pinks and see what works, because each time you do it, you'll get a completely different look and a different, the way it turns out. So it's pretty awesome to play with and it's fun. So, but thank you very much for joining me, and I will hopefully be getting my holiday catalogue order soon. Probably won't be today, it'll probably be next week. But hopefully I can do an unboxing so that you can see all the yummy new products that are coming. Cool. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll catch you again another time. See ya!